Hey everyone, my name is Kristen Marie. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm excited to dive into part 4 of my full and honest review of the Zemits Verstand HD Hydrodermabrasion system and the Adrenox 2.0 microcurrent device. So if you haven't already, go ahead and tune in to part 1, 2, and 3 of this series to catch up. And in this video today, I'm going to be wrapping up this review series and giving you more about Zemits, the products, answering your questions, and most importantly, giving you my feedback that I've received from clients and just whether I think this device is worth your investment, because I know that this is a big decision for a lot of you and your businesses. You're probably wondering, like, how would this treatment integrate into my practice? So I'm going to be sharing with you just pretty much everything that I think that you need to know to make the best decision possible for you. So if any of that interests you, then go ahead and continue watching. Alright y'all, let's dive right in. If you guys are already set on purchasing this device by the end of this video or at any point in time, go ahead and check out my link below for a generous discount with Zemits, and let me know in the comments too any of your experiences, any questions. I'm going to do my very best to answer them and give you the best advice possible. Use this platform to have discussions about this because, again, this is a pretty important purchase. The Verstand HD device and the Adrenox and the handful of other machines that Zemits offers is an investment. And so I'm very honored to be part of your research. And thank you again so much, Zemits, for entrusting me with these videos. You guys saw in part 3, kind of virtually meet Olga, who is one of the co-founders of Zemits. But just to give you a little bit of a backstory about Zemits, it was started in the Ukraine and now has graduated into many other countries. They're in the UK, Belgium, Poland, Spain now. They have 3 offices here in the United States. I mean, they're just popping up all over. So be sure when you check out their website that you're actually looking at the correct website, because I know that there's different sites for all the different countries. Because I'm in the US, I'm going to be speaking about what's available here. But if you want to know specifically what's available in your country, then go ahead and check out that specific website for your country. But I think it's really very telling of a company if they're expanding the way that Zemits has expanded. I don't really try to go based off just popularity. I wanted to look at the company more in depth, so I immediately, of course, went on the website and Googled some reviews. I went to their Instagram page. And so I encourage you, when you're researching a machine or something that you're going to invest in, those are the steps that I would recommend that you take. And so, of course, you're already doing a great job by watching this video, but don't just take my word for it and my experience with it. Go ahead and do a thorough sweep on the internet, articles, and reading it on Zemits' website, which I do feel like they have a lot of great articles on there that kind of explain the history of the company and just what their mission and goal is. I think what really stood out to me when I was first researching them was that they had those recognitions of having the best hydrodermabrasion machine of 2024. It also got recognized by L&E and Spa's Best Product 2024 winner. So it has 2 very prestigious awards for this system. And so if you do go on the website, you'll see that they offer a bunch of other devices. Of course, like I said, I'm on the US website, but you can look at their facial equipment. They have body sculpting machines, skincare, lasers, and aesthetic kits. You do have to be a licensed esthetician to purchase any of the hydrodermabrasion machines. And then, of course, for the lasers and other machines, there, I'm sure, requirements to be a doctor or a registered nurse. I would highly recommend that you contact Zemits directly. I think for any big purchase like this, you should speak to a representative directly and just ask your questions. Make sure that you get to speak to somebody specifically about what would be the best fit for your clientele, for your state board regulations. I think it would just be a wise decision to do that. I wouldn't just go on the website and just put the device in your cart and just purchase it. I think you need to talk with somebody from the company and get a little bit more of an understanding of what device might be best for you, because they do have a variety of different machines. So they have, just to remind you, the machine that I have is the Verstand HD 8-in-1 Hydrodermabrasion system, but they also have the Dermalux Pro Hydrodermabrasion system, which is simply just the cryocooling device, the oxygen gun, the hydrodermabrasion. The Verstand HD Pro 7-in-1 Hydrodermabrasion system is slightly different. It does not have the skin scrubber. It does have the radio frequency, and it has the cold application. I guess what the difference with that one is that it has the ultrasound skin hydration, but since in California we're not allowed to do ultrasound, that is why I opted for the 8-in-1 machine, because it had the mesotherapy device on there. So that is the device that helps to penetrate serum deeper into the skin. Go ahead and just contrast and compare to their devices and just make a decision based off what would be best for your practice and your budget. And I do believe that they offer financing options for you to purchase these machines. The Dermalux Pro starts at $4,600. The Verstand 8-in-1 Hydrodermabrasion system is $599.90 or $5,990, and the 7-in-1 system is $5,790. Honestly, just looking at those price points, like if I were to have made a decision between the 8-in-1 and the 7-in-1, I probably honestly would have just gone with the 8-in-1. I think that's why I had selected that one, because I was like, well, for a couple more devices and I'm only paying like $200 more, I think it's well worth it. The other machine that's just the hydrodermabrasion portion of it, with just a couple of the other modalities, for $4,600, that may be something that's a little bit more within your budget, but truthfully that's only about a $1,300 difference. I honestly think that that would be something you could easily make back, especially with the added modalities and the other devices. So, and just thinking long term, I don't want to have to go and keep repurchasing more machines and additional devices. I think what I really enjoyed about this machine was that it's an all-in-one type of device. I didn't have to have a separate radio frequency. I didn't have to have a separate cryocooling. I didn't have to have a separate oxygen gun. Like, everything is all in one. And so thinking long term, I just think that it would just make more sense to purchase something that has more inclusivity of all these different devices. And I really appreciated that about this device. But totally up to you, of course. Make the best decision for yourself. But I just think that if you're gonna go for this device, I would just go for either the 7-in-1 or the 8-in-1. And I did mention this before, that I was able to swap out the radio frequency for the dual facial sculptor modality. I know somebody else in the other video had commented they were having a little bit of a tough time doing that. So hopefully get the customer service at Zemits to grant that request. But that is why I think that it's very important for you to speak to a rep directly when you're ordering this machine, so that you can get that customized, if that makes sense. Of course, let them know that Kristen Marie sent you when you talk to them, and see what they can do to accommodate your state board regulations and what you hope to have on that device. I'm pretty sure they'd be more than happy to accommodate what it is that you want to add on or take away. What I don't think is possible, though, is that I don't think if you just wanted part of the device taken off, that they would discount it or change it up for you. I think it's more of a swap, or you just don't use it, to be honest. Products that pair with this treatment, and so they do have sets available for purchase. They have the full set, which is retailing for $285. Right now they're having a sale for $245, which also, by the way, these pricing that I'm giving to you right now is for the current time. So if you're watching this, say a couple years from now, be sure to check the website and make sure that you're looking at pricing for the current time. Anyway, so it looks like they're having a little sale for the serums. They have another set that includes the EquiShear, which is the cleaning solution, which I highly recommend that you get. You can also purchase these serums individually. So these are already technically pro sizes. I don't think they sell these retail. This company, truthfully, is a professional company, so I would not expect them to have retail items. Although, I think one of my suggestions would be that it would be great if they came out, if Zemits, you came out with cleansers, with serums, with SPF, moisturizer, just other products that could pair with all of this, you know, even more. If I were to have to pick out just a couple of the products that stood out to me, I would definitely have to say I really loved the HydroClear Clarifying Hydrodermabrasion Serum, and of course the Salus Pure Serum. I can't really say which one I like better because I would use both of them during the treatment. I did ask Olha what the percentages of the acids in here were, and she said it's like less than 2%, so it's extremely gentle. I only had one client say that they felt any tingling on their skin with this one. I did dermaplane her before the hydrodermabrasion, which you can do, and so that may be why she felt it a little bit more, but she is also a little bit more of a sensitive skin type. Anybody else that I put this on, even if I did dermaplaning, barely felt it to like a slight tingle. She was the only one who kind of felt it like immediately when I put it on her skin. Key ingredients would be lactic acid, which of course is hydrating, exfoliating, and brightening. It has kelp extract, which soothes and reduces inflammation, rosemary extract to calm and reduce redness, and glutamic acid, which exfoliates and shrinks pores. Great for all skin types. This is the serum that I'd put on the skin at the very first step. I know Olha said that you really honestly could choose between these two. I just kept grabbing this one first, given that it is the gentler acid. What I absolutely love about these serums is that they are luxurious on the skin. I mean, I could feel it when I received the treatment on myself, and they just had this like cooling and luxurious feel to them, very hydrating, brightening. I really think that the serums is really what makes this treatment stand out, and that the actual texture of the serum itself, it was not super liquidy and drippy. It just stayed on the skin really nicely. And then too, I did have one of my male clients, he said it felt like the congestion popped out like way easier than it had in the past. So that says something, because he says that usually he's, you know, pretty uncomfortable during the extractions, and then afterwards he's a bit red, and the experience of it is a little unpleasant. You know, guys know how extractions can be, especially if you have a lot of them. He just like looked at me after the treatment, was like, wow, that was just such a good experience. All the congestion came out. For him, what I did is I layered on the HydroClear, and then I put the Salus Pure, did the hydrodermabrasion, the extraction piece, and then I did go in with the, you know, spatula right here. And that's what I would do, because I do feel like the extraction tip that is used on the hydrodermabrasion piece, it does definitely get out gunk, okay? You'll see it in the tip, and you'll see it in the gunk in the container afterwards. It definitely works, but I do feel like I need to follow up on the skin with that skin scrubber after I do the whole protocol, just to kind of go over one more time to make sure that everything came out. I mean, truthfully too, all of these serums I enjoyed as well. I've used every single one of them. All left a really nice look to the skin, but I think the one that I used the most was this Oxy-Tite serum. It provides instant hydration at the surface and deeper skin layers, leaving the skin firmer, refreshed, and visibly more radiant for the long term. It has hyaluronic acid, which hydrates the skin, pentapeptide 5, which boosts collagen, peptide 6 revitalizes and stimulates elastin, rosemary leaf extract calms and soothes the skin, and Argania spinosa extract, which is an antioxidant to protect from free radicals. So I would actually go and apply this on the person's skin after the extraction. So I would wipe them down with a toner, and then I would apply this to their skin and either perform the mesotherapy or the cryocooling. The only product I wasn't crazy about was this Firming Genius collagen boosting peptide gel for the face and body. It wasn't terrible. It just, I noticed that when I had to keep reapplying it and I was doing the microcurrent device, it would kind of start to like coagulate, and you know, because it is drying up in a sense, so it wouldn't stay completely wet on the skin. I feel like I had to keep reapplying the gel, and then if I put too much, it just kind of started getting really like gross, if that makes sense. And I mean, I've only used this maybe like on 2 or 3 clients, and I feel like a lot of it's already gone. What I would like to see, one of my feedback for the serums, is that a pump top could be placed on these, because I do feel like it was, you know, like I was like pouring it a lot, and it's just extra handwork. You know, we're a little lazy sometimes. So I feel like it would have been nice to be able to just, you know, pump a little bit into the cup and call it a day. So that's my only feedback about the serums and the packaging. And to you guys, you do not need to use a lot of these serums. According to Olha, you can get about 100 treatments out of a bottle of the serum. So a little bit goes a long way. I've even had to remind myself, and I've told Kristen, to just put way less than you think, and you can always put more. You see why I made a series to this? Because look, this video is already getting like long. But I hope this has been helpful for you so far. Again, like this video, hit the subscribe button, comment below any questions that you have, and let's move on. Just as I've been able to use this device, here are some things that kind of popped into my head. Pros being that the machine is very quiet. Like, it has a very subtle hum to it, and I really enjoyed that. And I will say, the other device I have didn't necessarily have a loud sound, but it was definitely not as quiet as this one. And so it has a very gentle humming sound when the device is on. But what I would hope and maybe wish that the device could have the option to turn off the sound for the buttons, because I do feel like while this machine is very quiet, the buttons are like beep, 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 and it's just kind of like, to me, like makes me kind of like cringe a little bit. But I know to the client, they don't really give a crap, to be honest. But I know for me, I'm like, I enjoy it just kind of being a little quiet. And then when you have to press this really loud button, it's like, it probably ensures that, you know, you're clicking it and that it's working. But if there was an option maybe to either lower the sound or turn it off completely, if that's allowed, then I would definitely prefer to have no sound to the device. As far as using the device, it was very easy. I know you guys, I had suggested in the other video that you have more specific guidance on the settings and all of that, but truthfully, it really wasn't that complicated. Even if I didn't have any guidance, I would have been able to figure it out pretty easily. And so it's very user-friendly. There really wasn't a lot of room to mess up with this machine. The tutorials didn't really specify how to do the strokes and all of that of the device. I mean, of course, they encourage you to do it in the lymphatic direction, which I've always tried to keep in that direction. But there were some people that I worked on that just had maybe a little bit looser skin or really tight skin, and I realized I had to do kind of different directions of the section as long as it was going outwards, and it seemed to be fine. I really like that about this machine. I don't think that there's a really strict way to use this, and you have very little likelihood of like injuring somebody. I think the only way that you could maybe mess up is just by over exfoliating, which, you know, you saw in part 3 that Olha said you can do about 3 to 5 passes max on the skin. But really what I look out for is just the redness that occurs on the skin when it's pretty much done. And I've been able to do this device paired with dermaplaning, and it for nobody so far has caused any irritation or reactions, anything like that, which that's kind of the toss-up that you have with doing any treatments paired with dermaplaning, because it's already so exfoliating and irritating already as it is. So to add something else on top of that, you kind of wonder, oh, is this going to be too much? But I've had a range of clients that I've done it on, and it has not given anyone an adverse reaction from the feedback I've gotten so far. Of course, there's always going to be maybe that one person out of a million that could get that, which I always disclaim to my clients that there's always a potential. But again, so far, out of the 2-3 weeks I've been using this device on my clients, on Kristen, on myself, nobody has complained about a reaction or irritation. I haven't had anybody have any like hickeys on their skin or too much tug and pull on the skin. Just my one client who had kind of, again, more sensitive skin, I did notice on her like cheek area, she was getting a little bit of redness there. Well, everybody got a level of redness, okay? Everybody got a little red from the treatment, but her specifically, she had a little area between, like kind of right here, where I could tell if I had gone again, it would have left like a like hickey looking mark there. So just be mindful of that. Of course, you can adjust the section on the machine, which I really enjoy, that it has like a full range and a dial of of the adjustment of the section, versus on my other machine it only has 3 levels. This one is very customizable, and I feel like it's flexible as far as how hard or how light the section could be. The skin scrubber as well, you can dial that intensity. The radio frequency device has a dial adjustment to it as well. The cart, I do wish that it could adjust height wise, because I realize that like maybe some people have a table that is at a set height. Like mine thankfully can adjust during the service, but I think for somebody who has like a set height to their table, it'd be really nice to have a cart that could adjust to the height differences. I also did kind of feel like the cryo cooling device doesn't get that cold. Like I've turned it all the way up and I just feel like it's all right. Like I kind of expected it to be a bit colder, and maybe that's just for liability reasons. You can't make it too cold. But I feel like I enjoy the experience of doing the facial globes more than the cryo cooling. I can do 2 at once, and I don't need to use that gel with it. And when I do it at the very end of the facial, which I think kind of ideally you're going to do that cryo cooling portion at the end, if I'm putting that gel on there and I have to remove it with a towel, that kind of defeats the purpose of like wanting to press serum in and keep the hydration in, and I gotta go and remove it with a towel. I think the facial globes allow me to cool the skin off, but do it at the very last step and be able to let all the other products stay on the skin. The pro to the cryo cooling is that it stays cold. So when you use the facial globes, it eventually kind of reaches like a warmer temperature, and the cryo cooling device will stay cold. But I just feel like the experience that my clients had with the cryo cooling wasn't as as it is with the facial globes. That's just my experience. My final thoughts about Zemits and the Verstand HD and the Adrenox 2.0. We'll start with the Verstand HD. I know that that's been the main focus of this video, but I do have some things to say about the Adrenox as well. The Verstand HD machine, I have been getting nothing but good feedback. I think you guys have been hearing that throughout this video. But the main adjectives that people are using for the results afterwards is clear, bright, and hydrated, and clean. My clients are saying, wow, that was a pleasant experience. That was relaxing. I feel just really clean. That's probably the main word that people have been using. I just feel really clean. I even had a client come in that her sister also comes to me. She got the treatment, went home, and I texted the sister because I was like, are you going to be coming in the next time she comes in? And she's like, yes. She's like, what's the treatment you did on my sister? And I told her, and she's like, okay, I'm getting that. Like, for it to be that noticeable, for her to say like, what's up with your skin, and they always get the same exact treatments, like she had to have noticed something was different. And even the people who have received it already, they're excited to get another treatment, because I don't plan to offer this treatment as an all-in-one facial. I mean, you definitely could. I think I'll definitely have a version of it that includes a lot of the modalities, but I think it would be pretty hard to offer every single device on this machine in one facial, because you could literally be in the service room for like 3 hours. By all means, if you have a client who's willing to pay for your time like that, go for it. It's totally up to you, and that's what I really love about this, is that you really can be a magician with this and pull out your different tricks and customize it and do all kinds of things with this device. I definitely plan on trying to come up with specific treatment protocols for our practice, which I will of course be sharing with you here on the channel. I do plan on offering this treatment to be able to be integrated into our standard 80-minute facial, and then also kind of its own standalone service that will probably be about 2 hours. I do want to offer a specific facial that has the dermaplaning paired with this device and price it higher than just the dermaplaning or just the hydrodermabrasion. So there's definitely a lot of very high earning potential with this device. So if you're contemplating about like spending the money on the device, you're gonna make that back, especially if you market this correctly, and if you come up with really good treatments, your clients will see results. I mean, so far, like I said, I've done this treatment on a lot of my regular clients, like people who've been coming to me for years. Again, just speaking from my experience working with those two, I don't know everything else that's out there, but I do feel like the Verstand HD would be a worthy investment. It is going to give your clients a nice result from what I've seen, and it has a full range of modalities that you can really get creative with, and I really love that about this. So as much as I had my little feedback to give, overall very positive experience, and I would give this treatment and products and all that a 10 out of 10. I really don't have anything negative to say about this. You guys know I'm keeping it real with y'all. As far as the Hydrodermabrasion 2.0, I did do that treatment a couple times. Haven't been able to do it as much as the Verstand HD, but the Hydrodermabrasion 2.0, I definitely saw a difference. We did the treatment on Kristen's mom because I wanted a mature face to do it on. I definitely noticed a difference as far as like how firm her skin looked. She said it literally felt tighter and more lifted. She could feel it, and we did of course pair it with the Hydrodermabrasion. She did have a noticeable lift to her jawline and her cheekbone area. Now I want to get a little more comfortable with it. I do wish that there was a bit more guidance with that machine. I looked at the protocols, I took the training, and I still don't feel 100% confident, not like how I feel with the Verstand HD. But I think I'll get the hang of it the more I watch videos and the more I do it on people. But it's a good device as well. I do have another microcurrent device, and I do still plan on using that device. I do feel like the Hydrodermabrasion is a bit of a lengthier treatment than the NuFace, because that's the other device that I use. The NuFace is definitely a lot quicker, easier to integrate into your service. The Hydrodermabrasion 2.0, you're definitely going to have to integrate it into like a bit of a longer service. So I'm going to have to figure out how to incorporate this device, given that the other device only took me 10 to 15 minutes to perform, and when I did the full thing on Kristen's mom, it took about 22 minutes. So it's a bit longer, and I don't even feel like I did the full treatment also. So it could take 25 minutes plus to do the Hydrodermabrasion 2.0 on somebody. So that's my only con, is that it just takes a long time. And I think what's cool though is that they have those glove well, I don't know if they're called modalities, but the glove attachments that you can do the treatment with your hands. I think if I were to practice that and learn that can make it a lot faster, because then I can do the whole treatment with my hands and it wouldn't be this like really slow, dragged out treatment with the probes. My overall thoughts with the Hydrodermabrasion 2.0 is that it's a good device. It works well. Do I feel like I would jump up and down for it? Maybe not as much as a Verstand HD. That's something maybe you could just throw in there at some point in your business, but it's not a must-have. But it's still a good device. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know I talked your ear off in this video, but I really do hope that it was helpful for you, that it's going to help you make a thorough and educated decision about this purchase potentially. Again, check out the links below for a discount and more information about Zemits. I do again plan to make some more future videos. Comment below your questions, your feedback. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for your love and your support, and I will see you guys back here next Thursday for a new one. Stay safe, and I'll see you then.